Hi everyone, it's me, Lubna. Today is Sunday, October 27th, 2024. This video is dedicated to my beloved, and the topic of this video is going to be about theory and experience, and about how both are necessary if we are to approach an understanding of the true value of things. So in order to illustrate that topic, I wanted to share with you today another passage from the book that I'm currently reading, which is Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. And that is the first book contained within this collection right here. And the specific passage that I wanted to share with you today from this book comes from Book 4 within Mere Christianity, which is titled Beyond Personality, or First Steps in the Doctrine of the Trinity. And the passage comes from chapter 1 within that book, which is titled Making and Begetting. So first, I'm going to go ahead and read the passage aloud to you. Here it goes. I remember once when I had been giving a talk to the RAF, an old, hard-bitten officer got up and said, "I've no use for all that stuff. But, mind you, I'm a religious man too. I know there's a God. I've felt him. Out alone in the desert at night, the tremendous mystery. And that's just why I don't believe all your neat little dogmas and formulas about him. To anyone who's met the real thing, they all seem so petty and pedantic and unreal." Now, in a sense, I quite agreed with that man. I think he had probably had a real experience of God in the desert. And when he turned from that experience to the Christian creeds, I think he really was turning from something real to something less real. In the same way, if a man has once looked at the Atlantic from the beach and then goes and looks at a map of the Atlantic, he also will be turning from something real to something less real. Turning from real waves to a bit of colored paper. But here comes the point. The map is admittedly only colored paper, but there are two things you have to remember about it. In the first place, it is based on what hundreds and thousands of people have found out by sailing the real Atlantic. In that way, it has behind it masses of experience just as real as the one you could have from the beach. Only, while yours would be a single glimpse, the map fits all those different experiences together. In the second place, if you want to go anywhere, the map is absolutely necessary. As long as you are content with walks on the beach, your own glimpses are far more fun than looking at a map. But the map is going to be more use than walks on the beach if you want to get to America. So that is the passage that I wanted to share with you today from Mere Christianity. And as I was reading that passage this morning, I thought about the relationship between theory and experience, and about how theory enhances our experience. So a good example of this is the study of medicine in America. And if you know anything about medical school in America, or if you've been to medical school in America, you know that typically the first 2 years of medical school are devoted to the study of the theories behind how the body works, and the basic sciences such as anatomy, physiology, pathology, and pharmacology. And after those 2 years, the student is put into clinical rotations in the 3rd year and sent out into the community to interact with patients and to learn how to be a doctor and to apply what he or she learned in those first 2 years of studying the theories. And it's not possible for us to be good doctors or to be doctors at all if we never study the theory behind how the body works, and if we don't study the basic sciences and acquire that knowledge that has been accumulated through centuries of research and study by other people. And this is why having an understanding of the theory behind things enhances our experience and practice of those things. And I went to 3 years of medical school, and I can tell you that after studying all of that theory and acquiring all of that knowledge from my classes in the first 2 years, like anatomy, physiology, pathology, and pharmacology, I have acquired a much deeper understanding of my own body and of the bodies of other people. And when I look at a person, I'm better able to know how that person's body is functioning and what is causing his or her limbs to move. And if somebody has certain symptoms, I can understand what might be causing those symptoms. And so this is just an example of how understanding the theory behind how the body works enhances our appreciation of the body and helps us to treat the body when something goes wrong with it. And if we didn't have the theory, and if we didn't have the knowledge behind how the body works, we might still be able to appreciate the body on a superficial level, but our appreciation will never reach the depth that it could approach if we are to study that thing in depth. And this doesn't just apply to medicine and the human body, but it applies to any other field of study and any other field of life. Experiencing something is obviously closer to being that thing or being in that thing than just studying that thing. But when we study something, it enhances our appreciation of that thing, and it makes that experience all the much more meaningful for us, and we are able to know what the true value of that thing is. And another example could be a flower. For example, if you're a botanist or a chemist or a physicist or somebody who studies flowers in depth, when you look at a flower, your appreciation of that flower will be much more nuanced than somebody who has never studied the science behind the flower. And in that way, our educational background shapes how we see the world and how we see every part of the world, every person, everything we encounter, everywhere we go. I know that my experience of the world has been shaped by my educational background, including my undergrad studies in psychology and biology, my master's studies in public health, and also 3 years of medical school. In addition to all of the books that I read and the articles that I read and the things I think about, it all shapes my experiences. So all of that theory is essential for me to have a depth of experience that I enjoy on a daily basis. So with that, I wanted to use this video to encourage you to seek knowledge and know that by seeking knowledge, you are going to enhance your appreciation and experience of things in real life. Obviously, nothing is as good as experiencing something tangible and for itself, like the example that C.S. Lewis gave in that passage about being at the beach and looking at the Atlantic Ocean in real life is obviously better than looking at a map of the Atlantic Ocean. But when you look at the map and you study the map and you educate yourself, you're better able to go far along that ocean if you choose to. If you want to travel onto that ocean and travel to America from the UK, it's much easier, and you're able to do that if you have the background knowledge offered to you by the map. So I hope that you learned something very valuable today from my video about how essential it is for us to have both theory and experience in order for us to approach a true understanding of the value of things. And thank you as always for listening to my video today. And with that, I'd like to wish you a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, or whatever it is, wherever you are in the world.